the general population. The purpose of this segment of our workshop is to outline the challenges encountered by first responders during regular duty as well as following disasters, to shed more light on the risks and behavioral health consequences of serving as a first responder, and to present steps that can be taken to reduce these risks either on the individual or institutional levels. This training seeks to raise awareness of the behavioral health impacts of being a first responder. We will explore critical incidents, occupational and personal stressors, and opportunities for positive self-action. One of the things I hope to achieve in our time together is to reduce any stigma that you or your loved one may have of seeking help for any behavioral or mental health issues, and to reconfirm that seeking support is actually a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. This training has been organized into 5 different parts. In this first segment, we'll address the importance of learning to identify and recognize behavioral health stressors. Then, we'll discuss what post-crisis management looks like in the short term and the long term. Next, I will offer up some suggestions about different potential coping mechanisms. We will learn how to recognize and address high-risk behaviors. We will zero in on the importance and the road to building personal resilience and learn how building a formalized community of care and tapping into family support can help with that effort. And finally, we will talk about self-care measures and dealing with on-the-job stress. Let's begin now by jumping into the first section, where we will be discussing how to recognize and identify behavioral stressors. Our goal in this section will be to help connect the dots between job-related stress and behavioral health. I'll provide you with the tools to help you identify and understand what occupational stressors are and why they are important. I'll explain the physiological effects that stress can have on the body and teach you how to recognize when you may have experienced a critical or a traumatic incident. It's also important for us to define and debunk some myths around terms like anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and suicidal ideation. Chronic exposure to high-stress incidents increases the risk of developing each one of these undesired outcomes. Overwhelmingly, when I ask a first responder why they entered the field of public safety, their response indicates that they had or still have a strong desire to help others. As such, many people hold the prevailing belief and expectation that a first responder is the hero of the community. Basically, this means that first responders are viewed as brave men and women who will selflessly risk their lives to save others. Then, the expectation from the general public is that first responders must protect the community at all times, which would require them to work irregular hours and sacrifice their own time with their families. Ultimately, what happens is that first responders themselves begin to hold the belief that sleep deprivation and physical exhaustion are just part of the job. This view is also held by the general public about first responders, meaning that it is almost an expectation that physical and mental exhaustion are considered normal and accepted parts of the job. There seems to be an expectation that first responders are forever ready to answer the call, meaning that they cannot or should not allow themselves to falter, as they must always remain strong both mentally and physically. To me, that sounds like the description of a fictional superhero, not a normal person who has to juggle personal and professional stressors and make the time to refill their energy levels so they can continue to expend their energy on others. Now, throughout the course of your career as a public safety professional, you may already have been or you will at some point be exposed to dangerous, violent, tragic, or even life-threatening incidents. You will respond to tragic events